to understand why. There is something important which maybe we have to explain coming from this discussion or question, and that is, if you remember, when we produce the um, what we call the CO2, one thing which a lot of people don't remember or can comprehend is that we created the field of carbon in the water, not the carbon. If you go back into the same structure as the dynamic reactors and you put in CO2, you created the fields of CO2. Many of you can do two things. You can take an empty bowl and place it in the center of your CO2. What you'll capture is the essence of the carbon in field strength without any water. This is important for a lot of you if you understand what I'm talking about. But as I said, in the dynamic reactors, I was explaining this to the Keshe Foundation team again this week, because I think this is something a lot of you never understood. When you put these balls into motion, and then when you stop your motor, you see the gases collapse. But if you have left this ball in the center, the fields in the center, in that ball, or here, if you empty the bucket, have not collapsed. The ball carries the fields of the plasma, of the totality of what is being collected. Because in these fields here, you have the gases which are rotating, and they collapse. But here, the fields are created, and it's literally like the beginning of the creation of life. They don't have the same entity as the field forces from outside. Now, as these fields, in a way, if you look at it, have been interacting, they have created a different dimension of fields among themselves. So, the field inside this box is different than the gas outside, because some has a slowed down here, some are at this strength, some have crashed at this strength. So, in a way, this empty box, due to the man's eye of physicality, should be nothing in it. But if you have taken it from the center of a system, if you have taken it from the center of the box in a hollow ball, and you allowed it to create its interactions, it is a soul on itself. If you understand this, you can use this to confirm which is correct. Watch the field interaction between the two. Do you remember when we had a discussion with our minister in Accra, as I suggested to him, if he could not understand and he accused us of selling water, and his son was a PhD in pharmaceutical or whatever, I said, take a glass of my water and take a glass of your water, and then add some of my water into the water cup which you have, and measure the alkaliness. And the minister shut up for good. It's the same here. Take the two balls and let them interact. You will see new phenomena. Up to now, every time you collapsed or you put the empty ball, you thought, oh, it's just the empty, the gases. Because you're so physical, you don't understand, you don't want to comprehend, you have created a new life. Egg and sperm, in multiplication, create that soul. That soul doesn't die. because the body has died.